Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to Drumfills Kafé. Welcome to another episode on this 12th season. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Before we begin, as usual, I will invite you to go check out the web pages, social media pages of Drumfills Kafé. That is the TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook pages. Go check them out. Have a little like, subscription. We'd be much appreciative about that. And also, we invite you to go check out the webpage, main website, drumfillscafe.com, to know about all the past seasons, all the past guests, all the content we've created in these past 11 seasons. I can't believe it's been past 11 seasons. Anyways, it goes by fast. So tonight, to start off the 12th season with me, my guest tonight is a drummer who has played with Snarky Puppy, Eddie Gomez, Jimmy Haslip, Oz Noy, Guthrie Govan, and currently playing, I believe, with Mike Stern. He was a faculty member of the renowned Jazz Studies, or University of North Texas in Jazz Studies, and is, in my humble opinion, just an amazing player. Please welcome Mr. Steve Pruitt.
Hey.
How you doing, Steve?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. I'm in Montreal area and just enjoying the summers. It's kind of the ending of the summer. It's already dark around 8 o'clock, unfortunately, but I imagine in your neck of the woods, it's still very much summer.
Actually, it's kind of chilling out sooner this year.
Yeah. Oh well. Some years are like that. So where are you joining us from right now?
Sure. I'm living in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Cool.
Yeah, right in the central, right above Texas.
Cool. And you're from that area, basically.
I am. I was born and raised in Oklahoma City, and then I moved to Denton, Texas, in 2002. I went to the University of North Texas, and then I stayed around the area, did tours and all that stuff for like 11 years, and then after that, I lived in South Korea for 6 years.
Yeah, I was curious about that. We'll talk about that. I'm very curious to see what was the music scene there. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, and then I moved back to Oklahoma City in 2019, and then so yeah, I've been back almost 6 years.
Cool. So for you, what started this whole thing about music, drumming, all that stuff? Was it a particular drummer, a particular album, something that just caught your attention?
Yeah, it was the emotional aspect of music.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, it was, when MTV had music on TV.
I do remember those.
Yes. And there were all these. It was all sorts of. I loved everything. They'd play like Metallica or metal or whatever, and then it would be like BET, and it's like they'd have Jack DeJohnette's band or old Miles Davis footage. I love that. I just love, and just the emotional connection that I had with music. It was frustrating, and no one really showed it to me. No one really. I don't come from a musical family or anything.
Oh, okay.
And so I just. I beat on. I was like, oh, well, I don't have a drum set or anything, but there's some buckets lying around, so maybe I'll just beat on those. And actually, my first drum set was around. It was a toy Kawasaki electronic drum set, like a toy, and
Kawasaki, interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And it was my sisters. I have two older sisters, and for Christmas one year, they each got Kawasaki drum set, and I got the Kawasaki guitar. And the guitar had like 4 strings on it, and then big old buttons on the fretboard to play chords, right? But I was just like, dude, why do I got this when I could have had the drums, And so I bargained with one of my sisters, and whatever, and then so I got it from her, and then I beat the snot out of it, and broke fairly quickly, and then
Did it have sort of skins like the Rolling skins, or what was it? What was the surface you were playing in?
It was plastic, absolute plastic. It was
Plastic.
all plastic. They had
Interesting.
came with drumsticks that had rubber tips on them, and I bet you it's in my parents' attic still somewhere. I need to find that thing. But yeah, it was, it was just like it was a toy, but it did make sounds, and it was, it was cool, and I mean I liked hitting it, and and so anyways, yeah, and then after I broke down, I was like, well, okay, and then I graduated to buckets and whatever made noise around the house.
Yeah.
And then my parents, they actually I was always like watching music television and all that, but then I mean it was a choice between doing martial arts or and I was in there, and it was the Taekwondo place, and I was in there, and I just had this really awful feeling in my stomach.
Okay.
I was like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Okay.
And then I was like, hey, can we go to the drum store instead? And so we went to the drum store, and then I signed up for lessons, and then I got a practice pad, and and all that stuff, and then a few months later I got my kit.
And this is around what age? Around
11.
11, yeah, okay,
something like that,
yeah. For me, it was a similar. Like I was about 13, and it was a year either we buy new hockey equipment, of course, being Canadian, or buy a drum set. And I was like, that drum set looks very interesting. I don't think I want to play hockey anymore, especially at that age, because the guys were getting bigger and faster, and just all they wanted to do was fight. And I was like, I'm not interested. So, anyways, and the drum just said, "Hello, hi, I'm here." So, yeah, it's interesting story. And did you? And was it rudiments already 11 and stuff, or was it like rock and roll stuff, or?
It was a little bit of both. The fundamentals. My first teacher, her name was Johnny Rice, and she was a great musician. She played drums, but she also played piano, baritone saxophone, and classical percussion stuff. And so actually from the very first lesson, we got the Alfred's drum method book, and then she wrote out some basic patterns in it, and then I learned, like, basically the first day I learned, I understood what the basic grooves were, the singles, doubles, paradiddles, flams. I understood what those were, and everything was very clear. Like that was like day one, and but I was already listening to records. I was always playing all the records and all that.
So the musicality was there. You just needed to understand what you were playing, basically.
Well, yeah, I was always. It was funny because I was definitely raw. I was raw. Actually, I think there's probably a good part of myself that I still just let it be raw.
Okay, but that's good.
I like that, though. I like that. I don't. And yeah, look, when I very first was like getting into music, I understood there was a groove, but one thing that's really funny is like whenever there was long pauses in a song, I thought it was measured in seconds. I didn't know it was measured in BPM,
Okay.
And we didn't have internet back then, so it was just like left your own device. So it's like, okay, the groove comes in, and everything stops for a bit. Like, okay, how many seconds is it stopping? And that's honestly what I thought. And so then I realized, then as I got a little older, I learned all that stuff pretty quick and all that. And then around the time I was 12, I was playing in like local blues bands, blues jams.
Cool. Nice.
When people say that, they're like, oh, I used to gig at this time. Majority of the time, it's not that it was good. You just did it.
Okay. I see what you mean.
That was the case for me. Like some people say, oh, wow, you started playing like gigs when we were 12. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
it wasn't like magical. Like, I mean, I was, but I did learn how to play shuffles, and I learned how to play like the funk grooves and the rock grooves. And,
Cool.
I was listening to the rock of the era, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam,
Cool.
and I was checking out Alice in Chains and Smashing Pumpkins, and
okay. So we have about the same age and the same sort of interests. Yeah, I see. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
yeah. So but then I got into like the first CDs, because I was like, by the time I was getting into stuff, like it was like the end of the cassette era and it was into the CD era, right?
Yep.
And so so the first CDs I actually bought were four, and it was Blue Train, John Coltrane, Seven Steps to Heaven, Pearl Jam 10, Soundgarden.
Bad Motorfinger.
No, One Bad
No?
Motor, Super Unknown.
Okay. Cool. Wow. Yes, that is quite. Yeah, that is eclectic. Cool. Very nice. Yeah, it was like me when everybody was enjoying the. I can't remember what record in '93 or no '91. I think the Metallica record came out, and I enjoyed that record. But then I went out to buy Sting's 10 Summoner's Tale on it because I love Sting, and I couldn't understand what was going on because it was Vinny on it, and I loved it, but I couldn't understand what was going on. So I was also just trying to like understand and just listen to it and just understand. Yeah. So yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, at that time, what all these things, they seem so much more grandiose when it's bathed in mystery.
Yeah.
And so, and it's honestly, that's kind of a beautiful thing because it gives us this like seemingly intangible, impossible thing to build towards. That was like magic. It was sorcery, And then,
basically, yeah.
yeah. So when we were in the practice, like, okay, well, someday I'm going to achieve that level of sorcery,
Yeah.
and so that's how it felt for me.
Cool. So from then to, and I'm going to bring you back here to the Guitar Center drum off in 2000. We're back some 25 years ago. I saw the video actually. There's a video of it. I don't know if you're aware of it, but there's a video of one of your performances. You were good, man. You were good for that age. Honestly, very good.
Yeah,
doing some independent stuff with your right hand and the left foot stuff, clave. So yeah.
I just graduated high school, and I was 18, and yeah, I mean, I just love music so much. I mean, all the records, I went to all the concerts, I went to everything, and then I really wanted to, like really wanted to make awesome music, on the drums, and so I went to all the drum clinics. I was the annoying kid. Like,
and ask the questions, yes.
Yeah, and so I would always sit in front row, and and anytime there was a volunteer, I was always first to raise my hand, even though I had no business doing it or I didn't know what I was doing. I was that kid, and I was always asking the annoying questions, and I mean, but that's just how badly I wanted it, and I mean, back in those days, you had to really earn the information, and so you had to buy a record. It's like you're not sure. Like you go and I mean, like I would buy another Miles Davis album, and I'm like, but I'm not really sure if this is going to be good or not. Well, it better be good because I'm about to spend my money on it. And
yeah. You would pick and choose. Not like today where basically you go, I'll just listen. Oh no, skip. You'd be like, I got $10. What do I buy this week or like for the next 2 weeks that I'm going to listen to? That's all I have.
Yeah, and you gaslight yourself into like, oh, dude, this is awesome, so, because you spent money on it, you don't want to money go to waste. But anyway, so I was that kid, and I was practicing like all the time, like before school. I didn't do. Actually, funny story.
Sure.
Is when I was in 6th grade, I went to middle school and I was starting to do school band, right? And so I was kind of getting introduced to it, but I was already really just a drum set player, really. But you know, they were doing like snare drum books or whatever. And then they pull out the snare drum books, and I was like, man, these are pretty easy, I think. And so I asked them, you know, the percussion director or whatever, I was like, it's like, hey, can I just record all of these? Because you know what? Remember a Home Alone movie? They had a talk boy.
Oh wow, you're bringing me back now.
Yeah, like they had a little cassette recorder. It had a little mic on it. It was called a talk boy.
Okay. I think I know. Yeah, I think I know.
Yeah,
The mini cassette thing. I think.
Yeah, well, it's a regular size cassette.
Okay.
But at any rate, I have one. I mean, it's sold as a toy. It's funny because you try to buy one of those now. I mean, I've heard it's like, you know, at least $500.
I think I've got 2 downstairs. Exactly. Yeah, I used to bring those at drum clinic myself and sort of hide them in my pants just to and not get caught. If you will.
Yeah, and so I would. Yeah. So I was like, I have this, you know, talk boy thing. So I just got my practice pad and then I recorded. And they said, if you do that, we'll give you first chair the whole year.
Wow. Okay,
and
cool.
I was like, okay. So over the weekend I did it. And I sent it. I was like, okay. They're like, okay, your first chair all year. I was like, okay. So I did that. And the very last concert, like the 8th graders came up to me and they're like, you're not going to play. Like, you're not going to play it. And like, you know, you're in 6th grade and, you know, whatever. So, and then there was no instrument for me to play. So I had to sit in the back and play nothing. And so, and I tried to like say something about it, but no one said anything.
Okay.
No one did anything. And then so I was like, why am I doing this? And so I quit band and I just played gigs and I just played drum set and I just, you know, so yeah, you know, I had some bands that I played with around that time, the kids my age, but also I go to blues jams and another little funny story I'll tell you is the first time I ever sat in on playing jazz. You know, this is kind of a funny thing, but when you're playing, you know, when you're playing like pop music or rock music or whatever, there are parts, right? Like you're like, okay, you learn the groove, and then, you know, like learn the fills, and you can play exactly what's there, or you can kind of play your own. Okay, whatever, but it's kind of set, right? But when I first started kind of learning jazz, I was like, dude, there's a different beat, like every measure, you know? I was like, how do they remember this, you know? And you know, I didn't realize it was like all improvised, you know? And so, I mean, I kind of figured out the basic jazz beat, and I figured, oh, okay, it's a little bit improvised and whatever. Okay. And so I went, and there were some like local professional jazz musicians and whatever. And so I went, and then I sat in, and I don't remember. Maybe I was like 13 or 14 at the time.
Okay.
And so, I mean, we go, and then we started playing, but my ears were not accustomed to what was happening. It's like I couldn't hear where like the downbeats were, like, and like people were like, it was changing chords. I couldn't differentiate the difference between a melody and a solo because I just didn't know the vernacular, you know. And then the band stopped playing. Like suddenly the band stopped playing, and I was still playing, and I was like, huh. So I stopped too. And then the trumpet player looks at me and goes, "That's your solo." Okay. So then I started playing a bunch of stuff. I count, you know, like I don't even think I counted the band back in. I was
back on. You just did the thing.
So they counted us, you know, the band back in. I kind of went, and I was like, okay. But here's the thing about it, though. I never made those same mistakes again. Never. So it's like we can pontificate, you know, all we want beforehand, but really, you gotta be willing to screw it up. In order to truly get past. Yeah, I mean, then I learned really quickly. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand. There's a form now. Okay, I understood this. Okay, this is the melody. Okay, now if they stop, I was like, there's a drum solo here. Sometimes they trade. I mean, I learned all that pretty quick. And then, you know, and then by the time I was, you know, I was in high school, I was already like, you know, starting to play jazz gigs. I was already starting to, you know, kind of play with the professionals around and all that. And then yeah, but I was practicing all the time. You know, some of my favorite drummers around that time were like Jeff Tane Watts, Vinny Colaiuta,
Yes.
Horacio Hernandez.
Jeff Tane particularly, he had I don't know, man. There's something greasy about it. This is like something, muscular about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Brian Blade and Bill Stewart, and I mean, that was all my stuff I really loved. And I was really getting into and really like trying to understand more. And then so yeah, and then so I'm in high school, and then before my senior year, the high school band didn't have a jazz band, and I didn't want to do. I mean, after my experience in middle school, I was like, I don't want to do. Why do I want to do school band? And but I knew how to read music, and I knew how to. At this point, I knew how to do all that, and I was already like gigging professionally.
Okay.
And
did you make the band, or did you?
Well, they had a orchestra and wind symphony.
Okay.
And they did not have a jazz band.
Okay.
So the director, because me and one of my really close dear friends in Oklahoma City, his name is Mitch. He's a really, really great musician. He's a guitar player.
Okay.
We were in the same grade, going to the same school, and we played in bands together. Actually, we still have a band together now.
Cool.
And they basically said, hey, we're going to make a big band and we want to feature you guys. So they basically made the big band,
for you guys,
seemingly around us. I mean, maybe they wanted to do it anyways. I don't know, but it kind of seemed like it was because they saw what we were doing or whatever. But anyway, so that we did that, and then that was cool. And then my senior year of high school, I did, the all-state band or big band or whatever. And then right after I graduated, I did the Guitar Center drum off as a joke.
Okay, but you won.
Well, I mean, I got to the finals.
Yeah, you got to the end. Yeah,
which was amazing. It was amazing because like that was the first year that Guitar Center opened in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And then so I did that, and I was like, okay, well, I was like, I won that store, and I was like, well, that whatever, but it's just Oklahoma City, so whatever. And then I went down to Houston and I played, and then I was chosen there, and I was like, okay, now what? And then I was practicing a lot, and I was like, so I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? And then they flew me out to LA, and then I got a taste of all that, which was super cool. I mean, there were so many heavies at that time there. I mean, Vinny was there. Vinny was a judge. Greg
really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Greg Bisonet,
Greg Adore,
Kurt Pasquera, Alex Van Halen's there, Bernard Purdy was there, Tommy Lee was there. It was insane, and
cool.
it was a really good experience for me. It was eye opening, and then then just kind of led me on my path, and then after that, I got Shelley Mann scholarship to University of North Texas.
Yeah.
And I studied under Ed So for 4 years. And then
how was that experience to study under Ed? What's the thing that you remember from his teachings?
I remember a lot, man. Like I think some of the things I really took from Ed were like, I mean, being very mindful of the drum set as a melodic instrument and sound, like getting a good balanced sound on the instrument, especially ride cymbal. And that was really important. And I mean, brushes. I mean, he's a brush master, and so I learned a lot about that. And I mean, there's a host of many things in that regard, but yeah, no, that was amazing. And then at that, I mean, at school at that time was pretty incredible. Like the amount of the wealth of talent at the school.
Well, yeah. When I was looking up all the, I didn't know that University of North Texas was that like renowned, and it's one of the oldest one, and it's just one of the biggest ones in the countries. And because everybody's talking Berkeley, you just hear but University of North Texas is no slouch whatsoever. I mean,
It's incredible, to be
yeah,
honest. And I mean, especially like considering how much it costs versus what you get in return. You know, I mean, you know, like I went, like all of us, the Snarky Puppy was formed at North Texas,
yeah.
and we all went to school together. And I mean, there's a bunch of people that, I mean, like a friend of mine, Daniel Foose, like he's like music director for Bruno Mars club up in Las Vegas, and you know, often plays with him. And he also plays bass in Lady Gaga's jazz project. And there's I mean, another friend of mine, like Erskine, he's music director for Eminem. And I mean the list is really, and there was a lot of really great drummers at that time too. I mean, it really kicked my butt for sure. And just in different ways, you know, it's like I think I had some raw ability, but you know, like being able to be musical on the drums and then hear form and hear music and be able to interpret a chart and be able to, you know, authentically be able to play feels and be a valuable band member. You know, those were things that I think I needed to really refine. And so, because my technique was pretty good, like I could, you know, play really fast and I can play chops and stuff. And but it was just about refining those other skills, and that's what that school really, really helped me do. And then the networking and all the different situations you're put in, it's incredible.
Yeah, which is the thing that I think is the advantage in the States compared to Canada. We do have great players in Canada, got some interesting scenes, but it's nothing like the States in terms of, you know, places and little scenes and places you can play and clubs and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a different world in the States for connections and places.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I think everywhere is different. I mean, but I mean, we're in Denton, Texas, which Denton, Texas is like, the population I think is like 30,000 people. And so, I mean, it is north of Dallas. Dallas is a whole wealth of things, Dallas Fort Worth area. So, but
I imagine there was a music scene. There was an interesting music scene around that area, Dallas and stuff. Or
music scene in Dallas is unbelievable. I still play down in Dallas Fort Worth all the time. But yeah, but Denton's kind of, it's an anomaly in the United States. It's not like there's a lot of places that are like it. It's like, how do you have a town that's a college town like that's small but yet so robust, you know, with music? And
I imagine it's a bit like Burlington in Vermont sort of thing, that it's a college town, but there's a lot of places, a lot of clubs and stuff.
I mean, there wasn't really that many clubs in Denton, but there's a lot of musicians. I mean, and actually there's a lot of music happening that's like never been affiliated with the school even. That's the crazy part. So, but anyways, it was a blessing, you know, to really be around all that and be exposed to all that, because it really just kind of set the trajectory for my, you know, my career. And it was really hard, you know, me coming from Oklahoma, being a big fish in a small pond, and all that. I mean, but I knew what I wanted to play like, and I was okay with the challenges. I was okay. But when you're actually dealt with it, then it becomes like, then it's like, oh, this is reality, you know?
Yeah, you got to work for it for sure.
Oh man,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So moving on to the ones that you mentioned, Snarky Puppy, is that how it formed, or are you the original like drummer in Snarky?
No, well, it's funny. I believe I played the very first rehearsal. Like me, the band leader's Michael League. He's the bass player, and him and I played together like all the time. Like we were the rhythm section for many, many different things. I mean, of course, we both play with different people too, but him and I always did these different projects together as well. And actually, we lived like for a while, we lived in this house, and actually the guitar player lived in that house. His name is Brad Williams, and he plays guitar in Nate Smith's Kinfolk band.
Okay.
And then there's a piano player there named Andrew. And then in the garage apartment behind us, that's where Mike League lived. And so we had jam sessions at the house all the time, and we were playing all the time. And then when it was time to put together this horn band that he had, I mean, like I went and I played, and I believe that I played the first rehearsal, and
Cool.
but technically I was the fourth drummer.
Okay.
And in the beginning, it seemed like that he kind of had a jazz guy do it, and then he would have me come do it because I was one of the only guys at school that played funk and stuff.
Yeah, a little bit more backbeat, I guess.
Yeah, and so like kind of I was always there for that, and then he has some different drummers in there, and then eventually I just played full time in the bands, and I was on 2 of the records, and I mean, but from the time like I first played with him in 2002, and then let's see, the last time I played with him, I sat in with him when they came to Korea in 2014. So it's been a good while, but I mean, I'm still cool with everybody, and I mean, I've played with I mean, although I joined the band, I was not in the band anymore when Mark Lettieri joined. I still play I play with Mark Lettieri a little bit after that in some different projects. I play with some of the other guys in different things.
Okay, but not in Snarky. Okay.
Right. And so yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how that all works. But yeah, and then
But it must have been interesting to be sort of at the start of that band of all you guys kind of starting something like that.
Man, I'll tell you, I learned a lot, and I think at that time everyone learned a lot because it's a very unique outfit. Just because like you had all these different musicians in the band, and then you're supposed to figure out how to bring this kind of thing on the road.
Yeah.
And I credit Mike League, for I mean, he's been like he's had that vision from the very beginning of what he's wanted to do with it, and he's just made it. He just did whatever it took to make it happen, and he did not shy away from it. He didn't try to do it the easy way. He really just dove in deep to do it the way he wanted to do it, and so that's very, very respectable.
You need one of those. Like you need sort of a leader, a Sting or a Grohl or whatever to just push the band. Yeah. For instance, yeah, very cool, very nice. Yeah, because it's a very different band. It's a big band, a lot of players, but they're still going, and it's interesting. It's kind of I don't know. It's kind of a modern fusion jazz thing to it, and it's very interesting. And I'm happy that it exists because with all it sort of contrasts with all the pop stuff that's very electronic these days. So I like the fact that they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, me too. And I think that band has influenced a lot of other projects similar to come out, and it's just and so it's really great. You're right. We need more of that stuff out there, and I'm proud of the work and the effort and the time that I've put into that band, and it certainly did open doors for other things that I've done in my career, and really it still does. But what's really funny is a lot of times, it's more often than not, I encounter people who didn't really know I played in Snarky Puppy. So that just shows you my age.
Yeah, guilty as well. When I start saying, oh man, I remember Tommy Lee at the. Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. When I talk about Tommy Lee, Dr. Feelgood tour, when I went to see him back when I was like, I think I was about 12 or 13 or whatever, and they're like, "Wow, you went to see that show?" It's like for them, it's almost ancient, anyways. But yeah, I know what you mean. Well, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that story. I mean, there's so many artists you played, so I had to pick and choose from the ones that you played with. But I think I took some of the most recent ones. Eddie Gomez is one I picked out because, of course, he played with Bill Evans. He's played with so many players. That must be interesting to play with him.
Oh man, actually, the funny thing is, the first time I played with him was while I was a student at North Texas, and and it's just funny because I was the only student that played with him. It was like,
Okay.
Because at night, like I played with him during the day, and then at night, Ed Soph played a concert with him. And so I don't know, it was like this sort of serendipitous, like premonition. I don't know what it was.
Was he a faculty member back then, or
No. He was
not
just
even? Okay.
he was just in town.
Okay.
And I think he was playing a concert. So his longtime pianist is a fantastic pianist. His name's Stefan Carlson.
Yeah.
And I've been playing with like Stefan. His first year at North Texas was my first year.
Okay.
I'm sorry. His first year teaching at North Texas was my first year as a student.
Okay.
But he's been playing with Eddie for like 30 years.
Okay.
So he like knows the whole thing. But Stefan and I played, and we played quite a few gigs together, and all that. So we've been good friends over the years. And so when I moved back to the States, we got connected again, and we were kind of talking about it, and then Eddie's name came up, and then suddenly we have some gigs with Eddie.
That's cool.
And then it was really cool. We had last year we had like a little southern US run, and then after that, about a year ago, we had a run in Korea, and which it was really cool. And we have a little run next year too, in the spring.
And what's the repertoire? What is it that does he choose? Is it the whole band? How does it work with the trio?
Oh man, it's funny because we do talk about the tunes. Like we'll do like maybe some of Eddie's tunes, and then we'll do some of Stefan's tunes, and we'll do some of like the old Bill Evans repertoire. A few of those things, and then Stefan has some arrangements of standards that he's done, and it's basically from those four groups. And then but on the concert at the gig, a lot sometimes like they won't even tell you what it is. They'll
just start it.
Yeah. Wow. And I'm like, oh, okay, I think I know this tune. Okay,
Okay.
There's been one or two times where I'm like, oh man, I don't know this tune. But that's the thing, big ears, you got to figure it out, right?
Yeah, start swinging.
Start swinging. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, I saw a video of you guys in I think the Seal, I hope I would say that correctly, festival, Forest Jazz Festival 2024. Very nice festival, very cool. And you guys are it's just so fluid and just big ears, as you say. Yeah.
Man, that was really incredible because funny little story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is we did our US run last year, and it was cool, and we were playing, and it's like I felt like that I needed to push more,
Okay.
But I also didn't want to like overstep my bounds here, and I wanted to be like kind of respectful in that circumstance, and so I did just enough. I kind of found the happy middle ground, and it was fine. People enjoyed it. Eddie really dug it, and all that, and then I was like, okay, cool. And then we went to Korea, and I had more stuff figured out from it. And then we played, and it was better. But I was like, man, I was just debating. I was like, man, my instinct is telling me I really need to like, maybe push more. And,
do you mean tempo wise, or just more like?
Yeah, like feel wise, like
okay.
Maybe more drive it a little harder.
Okay.
And then after the gig, Eddie very nicely, he said, "Hey, Steve, so no matter how much you're pushing me, you're not pushing me enough."
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was like, so my instinct was right. And then, so then we played the next gig, and I did exactly what my instinct said, and instantly everything transformed. Like it was like, boom, like you're in this, you walk through the door. And
the energy was there.
And then after that point, the music played itself.
Okay.
Now, there's multiple factors to that. Now it's like, okay, now I understood the whole language. Now we're all used to each other. Now we've blended together, and now we're a unit.
I see.
And so by the time we got to that Soul Forest, like that Soul Forest Jazz Festival we played, it was like we came off stage and I was like, dude, I didn't do anything. Like I feel all the emotion. I know music happened, but I didn't like actively try anything.
You didn't think about it.
I didn't think about it. Everything just played itself.
Nice.
And the whole band felt that way too. And then, you know, Eddie was like, yeah, that's how you do it.
Casually. Yeah. Oh, very nice. Well, I entice people, I invite people to go check it out. It is on YouTube. But yeah, you guys are just, I don't know, it just feels fluid. It just kind of goes. Yeah. As I was
thank you,
listening to
man.
it.
Yeah. I mean, but all that being said, it's like I'm still, you know, like I'm still trying to find the little nooks and crannies of how to be better and how to make it, you know, even more, you know, be a better servant and be a better, you know, proponent of serving something greater than ourselves.
Oh, cool. Since you're on the subject, I have to ask. So you were in South Korea. You moved to Korea, is that? And how's the music scene in Korea? I must be interested.
Oh man, it's very interesting. I mean, there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening there. And yeah, I mean, I was playing all the time, and I did everything. Like, and I was really fortunate, you know, just because I played with all the best people there, and then also when foreign artists came over, you know, I would often get called to play with them too. So they can like, they're like, oh, there's another guy there that you can play with. And the perfect example of this is Jeff Lorber and Jimmy Haslip. And they came to Korea, and I got contacted by the promoter of their concert. They're like, hey, so Steve, we have these concert, or we have we have a radio show and a concert with Jeff Lorber Trio with Jimmy Haslip, and they need a drummer, and so would you be willing to play? I was like, well, of course. And so and then when I went and hung out with them, it was the radio show, and I mean, we didn't rehearse. And
really okay.
And they just gave me the list of tunes and said, okay, be ready, you know. And,
ready, yeah.
And which is pretty common, you know. It's not like that's a pretty common thing. But at any rate, they and then we played and it was great. And then you know, Jeff said that he heard about me from other places too, and so that's how it came up. And then we played, radio show went great, and then the concert went really great, and then Jimmy and I became friends too. We became friends too. And then yeah, I mean, also I was playing with Osnoy. I first played with Osnoy like 16 years ago.
Okay.
And, but then over the years, you know, Jimmy has been playing with him too. So I talked to Jimmy, you know, at that time I was like, man, we should like play with Oz or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually it happened later. But anyway, that's just kind of how all these things
kind of happen. Yeah.
They just kind of happened. And then so yeah, I was really fortunate. So yeah, I was so integrated into soul, like in South Korea, that I wasn't working. Like, those were the only foreigners I really worked with. Everybody else was like all Korean, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but
and everything, K-pop stuff. Like, I did K-pop stuff.
I was about to make the joke, but yeah, but that's big here. Like, even my daughter loves K-pop, but I imagine, yeah. But go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, I did like some of the modern. I did some modern stuff. Okay. I also did some old stuff, like you know, like some older like K-pop artists there that were really famous, you know.
Okay.
And I mean, it was just fun. It was just funny because it's different. Because I would get called to do these recording sessions or gigs, and it was like, and I had no idea who these people were. I just know, okay, that's the rate. Show up at this time. Okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I show up to the session, and you know, you have all these people there, and like people are like really, you know, respectful to the artist. And I mean, it's not like I wanted to be disrespectful or anything, but I just like, I don't know who this is, and so. I go and I play the track and whatever, and then later it's like I would tell my wife or I would tell like some friends, like, oh, yeah, I just did a recording session with blah 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 blah, and they're like, oh, really?
That person,
I was like, yeah, and then they're like, wow, oh my god, it was just funny. It was a big deal to them, but to me, it was like, I just didn't know,
yeah.
And I got called, like there was a band that I played with for a little while there. It's a really famous band. It was funny because like the first gig I played with them, I didn't even know, but it was in front of like 50,000 people.
Okay.
And it was broadcast on TV. It's somewhere on YouTube. And I mean, I just have no idea. I had no idea if it's some like 100, 200 person seat thing or like some huge
stadium thing. Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
I remember this. I shared something just to share with you a story. I was one in Chile, and we were at this festival. We were playing this. We're just this little percussion band, and we're playing this festival in Chile, and it's one of the biggest ones. And it's basically Kool and the Gang that's playing. We're like, oh wow, Kool and the Gang, and people like really enjoyed them. But then this guy shows up, and it's like Madonna or like Frank Sinatra. Somebody showed up, and they just went absolutely nuts. And I had we're all three Canadians going, who is this guy? But he was like the biggest thing. And that's the thing about countries, is that they have their own stars and musicians that are just so well known and respected that but they don't come out necessarily in the States or Canada or whatever. But yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, so it was crazy. It was, I mean, and then it was just really funny because then like Snarky Puppy came and visited, and then
okay,
hey,
cool.
you want to play a little bit with us? And I was like, okay. And then Guthrie Govan, he came to Korea, and then his manager reached out to me, and then I played with him, and so it was really like I had a very strange. I mean, it was cool. It was just very peculiar circumstance, just like all the different opportunities that I had. And so, but yeah, I mean, I just kept building, I just kept going. And then, I mean, the most important thing, and this is why I tell musicians all the time, it's like, man, I mean, you're never going to be totally ready. You just have to have to do it. And I mean, you have to go above. And if you want what everyone else, or if you do what everyone else does, you get what everyone else gets, right? To truly do stuff that is exceptional, you have to do exceptional things, like at an exceptional level, exceptional work ethic. You have to exert yourself in those ways to really, like do those kinds of things, because you're earning trust,
Yeah.
And it's basic things too. It's like a lot of it's showing up on time, knowing the music inside and out, and just being super cool and reliable.
There's no other secret. That's that's the recipe. I know, and I've heard it so many times over the 5 years I've been doing this podcast that it's so many guys have said it. That's basically it. That makes you could be the best technical guy, but if you don't have those things, yeah, it may not last. Yeah.
I've heard, I mean, the stories that I hear like kind of regularly about really famous like musicians, that how they lose gigs and all that, it's all boils down to the basics, and what it seems like to me is that, I mean, I have the utmost respect for, I want everyone to succeed, and I'm not sitting here, I'm not gossiping, because we all have our own way to figure out things, but and we all make mistakes. I've certainly made plenty of mistakes, but at the end of the day, it's like I just hear so many stories about people who perpetually make these kind of simple errors, and it might be because of ego, it might be because of priorities, I mean, whatever it is, and it's disheartening, because you just see how talented these people are, and you want, I mean, but it is very surprising. So there is a reason why people repeat these over and over again.
Because exactly.
So what I would think, I was like, wait, well, I was like, hold on. You mean if I'm professional and I do my homework and all that. I put all of myself into the gig, but then I'm reliable and everything on top of that, my chances are like pretty high. I'm like, well then, okay, and then you just have to set that for yourself. But it's just not easy to do because you really have to love doing it in order to go through all that.
Yeah, I think you also have to love the music, if you're not doing it for the music, if you're doing it maybe for the cash or, some other reason or, then it's harder to do all those things, to show up on time and all that stuff. But yeah, you really have to dig the music. And yeah.
Yeah, man. For me, the way that I dictate, a gig is like, do I dig the people and do I dig the music, or do I dig the music? And
Very
if the
important.
answer is like yes on both of those, odds are probably business wise it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
And also another thing is, I should say, is that musicians have to think really big picture. So for example, like if let's say you get called, I've seen this happen. It's like, let's say like someone who maybe there's a bass player that you've like that plays with a really famous band, or I don't want to say famous, but awesome band that play awesome music, and you get an opportunity to play a gig, but the problem is it pays $50. But the thing is, if you show up and you're super cool and you slay it and you're to the best of your ability and all that, and things naturally take place, your chances of being more lucky are higher, like big picture. Like, because if someone, so it's like if because if people think, man, I got asked to do a gig with so and so, but I only paid $50, so I said no. It's like, dude, that's not the value, man. Like, the value is worth, like way more than that. Like just being in the scene, being down to play, and then showcasing that's like, dude, I'm here all for the music, and I'm super reliable, and I know what to, and then I'm gonna do what it takes, and all that, and then you're just a cool hang. Obviously things naturally have to manifest themselves, but if you do that and you put yourself out there and you're able to seize those opportunities, then you suddenly start to become luckier.
I agree 1,000%. And I'm also guilty of sometimes being in situations where I'm like, I don't want to do this, and for some reason I'm still around and whatever, or don't talk about it, or I've been there. I'm guilty as well, I must admit. So
we all you know what, I'm not on a soapbox saying, I do everything perfectly and all that. It's really it's my mistakes that have taught me, and I'm really very adamant about it, and I'm a pretty slow learner in that aspect, and so so I just I just do everything I can to remedy that. So really it's like, if someone calls me and it's like great people and great music, then
that's your barometer, and that's about it.
And I don't even care where it's at, and it's really crazy because like what's ended up happening is that like when you have your values set that high, the money follows all that.
Easy.
Like, because if someone is only chasing money, they're never gonna like quite catch all of like as much as they need. But if you put your value into yourself and to the things that are that are truly meaningful, it's such as being your own individual self in music you really believe in, then money follows that. And so that's the irony. But in order to do that, it's a huge responsibility, and it's a huge what if, it's a huge
for sure.
But it's like, when you, but really I talk about this all the time. I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, nothing is safe. Nothing.
No, like, for sure. I have friends that are in private businesses that make, I don't know how many, $6-figure dollars, and all of a sudden 6 months later, oh, sorry guys, we're just, we're laying off about 50 people from the company, so here's your severance pay, and that's it. See ya. And it's like, oh, okay, wow, I thought private companies were nope. Even big companies just, yeah, exactly.
Everything is a risk.
Yeah.
And including doing nothing. Doing nothing is probably the greatest risk of all. And so it's like imperfect action is the only way forward.
Yeah. I think we could continue philosophizing about this, but I think the point has been made, because I do want to talk about something else that's similar to what you're talking, because you do teach, and you've been teaching for a while. You taught at, of course, North Texas, and you teach your own program. You have your own program right now online, which is what I want to talk about. But what struck me from what you were saying is that from one of your shorts, and I was looking up this stuff, is that you were saying we don't want to be buried in these books. We're chasing sort of a feeling basically about drumming, and that your curriculum, correct me if I'm wrong, your program is more to like keep that feeling going as you're learning whatever it is you want to learn. So talk about your program, how you teach.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, my pedagogy is like, it's shaped around like just cutting to the chase and getting to the things that are important, right? And so what I noticed is there's a lot of fluff out there. There's a lot of like people just want to sell a product, right? It doesn't, and again, like I'm not even harping on that. Like I'm just saying that like there's so much of it.
There's a lot of Instagrammers, and here's a lick number 75, and yeah,
right. Sure. And it's like, I mean, but that's not why people like I like to keep things very simple, and but also cover the broadest base possible with the most simple concepts. And the simple question is, why do we play music? Like, we don't play music to practice exercises, right? So we practice music to we practice so we can play music that gives us the feeling that we get when we listen to that awesome music, right? Yep. And so that's the thing we have to be in touch with. And so the line that we have to have is the music is our North Star. And then then we evaluate what is it in our playing that we have that like can achieve it, and what are the things that we have that we need to work on. Okay, once we have the things that we need to work on, now let's make a plan based around that. But again, a simple plan. And then, then you kind of follow this thing. So that way it's like, what to do. And then you have this environment of learning. And I feel like that one thing that I really strike home is that I think great music educators, like, you really have to be a producer, for everybody.
Interesting. I see what you mean. Yeah. Not sort of a professor, but more of a like, okay, maybe if we try it this way or try it that way, or check out that sound or add a little bit here. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just listening back and saying, hey, we have to be realistic. And so, I really strongly promote, recording. Everyone needs to record themselves. Right. And it's amazing to me how few people, like so many people with everything we have now, like don't record themselves. And it's like, dude, there's so much data there. And so when someone comes up to me and they say, oh man, Steve, I just had the worst gig I've ever had in my whole life. I go, well, where's the data? And they go, well, I didn't record it. I was like, then I don't believe you. Quite simply. Yeah. And so, yeah. And like, I think people try to have, they try to simplify, the aspect of education, but it ends up being overly complicated. So what I do is my program's customized for everybody. I meet with everybody. You have to be inspired to play, right? You have to have like inspiration to play. So we talk about music, we listen to music, we evaluate where they're at, and everybody can, like, I talk about the things that everybody can have, because a lot of times these schools, they try to say, I'm going to make you the next Vinnie Colaiuta, or I'm going to make you the next Bill Evans or something. And it's like, that's not fair. That's not the right messaging.
Yeah. And there's already one Vinnie, and there's already was one Bill Evans. So why not try to be, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, well, why do that when you could, you could just say, hey, let's just figure out how to keep growing. That's it. Like, and that's something that, see, I want to figure out things everybody can do, because music needs to be inclusive. Music needs to be for everybody, not a certain group of people.
I see. Okay.
And so that's really what I focus on. And what I've learned is, like, for example, I have guest artists, and one of my guest artists was Jimmy Chamberlain from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, nice, nice.
And one thing that got me really hyped was, he was saying, when things are right with me and the drums, I'm a better husband, I'm a better father, I'm a better human being, I'm a better bandmate. It just makes my whole life better. And what made me so excited about that, I was like, that's the message. Like, it doesn't matter if you're playing in a mega rock band or you're playing at home and just playing along with records. Everybody can have that.
Yep.
And so that's the messaging. And so I have a wide variety of students. Everybody can play, but I have some like that are like Berkeley grads that really get into advanced things, and sure, let's go that direction. Cool. But then I have some people that are retired from their business, and that they were like playing drums more, but now they have a gigging band.
Yeah,
they want to get into playing more. So I'm like, okay, great. And then we take some of their songs and like, hey, let's figure out what we can do to these to make it sound awesome. And or I mean, like, it already sounds cool maybe, and then let's figure out, let's be a little creative with it, or let's see, if we can make the groove deeper, or let's see if there's anything getting in your way, or and then it's a whole big family, it's a whole big group of people that we all meet also. And so anyways, I really like the workflow. I like what it's doing, and the members in it are getting results, and that's I mean, and everybody loves music more. So it's like,
it's a win-win. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so it's like a first principles thinking on like what music education should be. I really just wanted to say, okay, with everything that I have, the messaging has to be, like, what am I trying to do here? And to be honest, like, I didn't grow up, like I said, I didn't grow up as a child prodigy. I didn't grow up in a musical family. I didn't do any of those things. I just love music. That's my only superpower. And that's it. And I think that a lot of people have that superpower, but society will like beat people down or make people think that they should be certain things in order to be a musician. And it's the people that perpetuate those ideas are people that aren't, maybe they wish they were doing it, and they want to make a reason for why they're not doing it. So they tell other people these things. I don't want to generalize. Everyone's different. And, and again, I love everybody. Everybody has their own things. I know it's nuanced. I don't want to make this paint a broad brush here. But what I will say at the end of the day is I want to make more people want to play, and then cater to their needs. And so, and then I want to, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool that I'm in my program. It's like, I'm still doing these like really incredible gigs with incredible artists. And it's like, they're like, but I'm like, dude, I'm on your same team, man. Like,
you're just ahead because you've practiced all these years and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I just want to be like, hey, like I don't want to make it a mystery. I want to like lift the hood on it and say, hey, this is what it entails, and it's like you can have that in your own gig too, that feeling, and so I want to invite everybody in, and again. That's not to say I'm it's all sugar and spice all the time. I'm very matter of fact, with things. So if something needs to be better, that really needs to be addressed, I address it as such, but not with toxicity.
No, not like, I've had some profs who said something to me like, oh, well, my student who's 14 can play that and you can't. So, in other words, you suck. And I'm like, okay, great. I'll go home and practice, but now I don't feel good about myself. So yeah, I know what you mean.
I've had a lot lot of
I've had those.
I've had a lot, and that's actually why I'm just sitting there going, I mean, when I started teaching at the college level and when I started kind of doing that, I was like, man, I had a lot of jerks that were professors.
There are some out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I said, yeah, there's some, I should say some. And it's just it's a generational thing partly. And also it's like, I just feel like that, I feel like if you tell a student that they're like, if you don't make it hard for them and you tell them what they want to hear all the time, you're not going to get anywhere, right?
No, exactly. Yeah.
And same thing with the opposite. If you're just like, chastising and like insulting and all that stuff, you're also getting in the way. I don't want to get in the way of growth.
Yeah.
I just want to say, let's do this, and then let's assess, and let's not avoid the fact that we're human. Let's embrace the fact that we're human and move along with it, and move like in parallel, with the fact that, we have emotions, we, are expressing ourselves, and that, so I use, when it comes time, I use every resource and every piece of experience I have to make the most broad-based concept for people that they can just say, okay, now I don't have to go through this whole book. I can just do these couple of things, and it's going to help with this.
I see. Yeah. No, because I think you're like me. I have a drawer full of all the books, all the classics from the Buddy Rich snare, which I've never looked at. It's in there. I've just never snare book. I just never really gone through it. I should someday, but I mean, when am I going to use it? Anyways, but I see what you mean. You're getting to the point of what people really want to learn, basically, to make them better and to just make them enjoy music, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's and I really love it, and I mean, it helps me too. Like, I mean, it's funny because I'm getting better as a drummer, like just from, because all the stuff that we're talking about, interacting with, and I mean, I'm putting all the same principles. I have to refine what I'm saying. I have to refine my process, and also I'm not making myself a separate entity. I'm also actually engaged in that process too. Yeah. And so, like, I think that's a really important thing. And so, and I don't want to sit there and like sell myself with words. I want to say, hey, well, I'm able to do these things because I've done this. And then, but also so you can do this your own version of this, regardless of, if you're playing, in a cover band sometimes, or you have your own original project, or you're just recording tunes at home or whatever. It's really important to just make, like, the music is more than enough. Not like, if we try to celebrate our ego too much, eventually it'll fail.
And not to poo-poo on, but there's a lot of ego these days, especially, I would say, social media, I should say. Not really. There's still great music out there, to be honest. If you look for it, you're still going to find some great music out there.
That's an interesting topic too, because I hear a lot of people say that, there's just not a lot of good music like there used to be. And my answer to that is, I just think everything is broadcast more. Like back in the day, like, you didn't have social media and everything, that every person can be their own record label and their own TV station and all that. So it's like, you just have more of everything because it's all online. And so, and usually, with just like anything else, you do get more bad than you do good. And then, so you do have to sift through it. But I think that, but there's also enough, there is it's kind of quasi-democratic in a way, because it's like, it's not a record label putting money behind it. It's the people that vote on this stuff.
No, exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. There's not that much, there's that, what was it that they called it back in the day, when they basically had to pay the radio stations to play a song like every, like, I don't know, 40 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever to put it down your throat. But I think that still exists. But I know what you mean. Basically, you can look for it yourself. You don't have to wait. And this is generational, for MTV to show you a video, and you go, oh wow, I hope I can see that video again in the next day or whatever. and yeah, you can just look up, just you go YouTube and you go, okay, I don't know, a rock band or blues band, and you discover something new, you know? Yeah.
Man, yeah, absolutely. And it's just really incredible. Like, I mean, look, I think the internet and social media, I think it's as awesome as it is awful. Like, and I think that it's kind of always been that way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you know, like you can look at the old days and say, well, this was better and that was better and this was better. But yeah, but other things weren't, you know. Now again, I am kind of a get off my lawn kind of guy in my own aspect too. Like,
Okay.
like for example, there's a friend of mine. He has a shop that he repairs like guitar pedals and old preamps, and also like even like stereos and speakers. And I walk in there, and because everything is analog, you know, I don't know why, but I feel like at peace, you know, and then I become overwhelmed with emotion because he has this like TV, the one of those fat TVs.
Yeah, with the tube in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he has a VCR.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm collecting VHS tapes, and like I'm just like, oh my god. And then so you know, my whole thing about that is like, it's like we at that time, you know, I mean, like we had to really earn everything that we, you know, like entertainment. And it's like, you had to like be at, you know, if you want to watch a certain TV show, you had to be at the TV at that time, and then maybe you can get a VCR recording of it. And
I remember recording Without You from Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, just to learn his stick trick.
Yeah.
And playing stop rewind, just to understand what he was doing, because I couldn't figure it out. And I had to wait because back here it's Much Music in Canada. They say, "Oh, Motley Crue at this hour," and you're like, "Okay, I'm going to wait and press record and record the video so I can watch it," sort of thing. It was that deal back in the day. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, we've replaced that feeling with convenience. You know what I mean? So it's like, that what that tells me, the big life lesson that I've learned out of all that, is there's always a trade-off. No matter how awesome the outcome may seem, you're trading something for it.
Yeah.
So we can just appreciate wherever we're at, whatever we have in front of us. We just have to appreciate everything for what it is. And sure, I mean, I bellyache about stuff. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, a lot of things that I've been able to do in my career have been because of social media.
Yeah, you know? No, for sure. And look, we're talking because of social media, because I saw a couple of videos of you and I thought, oh, who is this guy? I gotta check this out. So yeah, no, for sure. That's what I'm saying. I think I agree. And we'll stop on this philosophy and ask you a last question. But sure. No, I have to agree that, you know, you just have to cipher through it. Just look for something that suits you, basically, in terms of music or in terms of what your interests are. But because, there's a lot out there, basically. Very cool. Thanks so much. I'm just going to ask you a last question because we're almost at an hour 15, which is amazing. So you're going back, I believe, to Korea with Mike Stern. Is that correct?
I have the most insane schedule coming up. Like, this is literally.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like okay, so I have one tour I'm doing before that tour. So I'm doing Thursday. I leave and I go to Little Rock, Arkansas, and I play with some really incredible musicians. There's a guitar player from Memphis, Tennessee. His name's Ted Ludwig. Okay. And then this organist from New York, his name's Pat Bianchi. He's like really world-class organist. And then this really incredible sax player named Jerry Weldon. And so we're playing in Little Rock, and then we're playing in Memphis. Then we're going back to Little Rock, and we're finishing up. Ted recorded half of his record, and so we're going to finish that record. And then after the recording session, I come back to Oklahoma City, and I'm literally home for like 3 or 4 hours. and then I got to go to Dallas, and then from Dallas, you know, I go to the airport, and then I fly to Seoul, South Korea. And then Seoul, I have my full schedule there. Like, I am touring with Mike Stern, but I do have like actually a couple other things I picked up while I'm in town.
Okay.
And then I come back, and then I'm home for one day in Oklahoma. Then I go back to Dallas, and then I have a gig in Dallas, 2 gigs in Dallas, and 1 gig in Fort Worth, Texas. And then at that point, we're in October.
I hope the jet lag doesn't strike too hard.
I kind of think I'm always jet lagged. So
well, that's amazing. That's very cool. That's very, very cool. Well, I wish you the best.
I love it, man. I mean, you know, I think that this is the thing. When I tell people what my schedule is, when I tell people all the things that I do, they're like, man, that sounds really hard. And I'm like, no, you know what sounds really hard? Working a job you don't want to work, not getting paid enough to do that job that you don't want to do. And then you're just going through the motions, and you'll work half as hard and feel like that you're totally drained. Whereas if you're doing something you love to do, when people say you're never going to work a day in your life, you do something you love, that's absolutely not true. You are going to work like twice as hard, you know, but you do it because of the big picture things. And so I just feel really grateful because, you know, this is my business. These are my businesses, you know, like we are our own entrepreneurs. If we're
for sure,
we're musicians, and then I run my own program. So it's like, and all that. And so it's like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, I am my own boss, and I only take whatever I really want to do. And then for the things I have to do, I work extremely hard to make it right. So if it's a gig I mean, there's some gigs that require nothing of me that I'm like, oh, okay, I understand it. And then there's gigs where it's like, okay, I got to really do my homework on this. And then I do way more homework than probably I need to. But and then for my members of my program, I go above and beyond. I have people all over the world, so I'm up all hours. That's why I say I'm always jet lagged.
Okay.
And then I have wife, 2 kids, and then I mean, it's a crazy existence, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Yeah. You know, for sure. I totally agree with that. Because, you know, basically you're excited to do what you want to do. It's basically play music, play drums. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, thanks so much. I'm going to end it there because we can continue on for quite some time. But please talk about where people can reach you. Basically, if they want lessons, if they want to follow where basically you're playing, if they want to catch a show, go ahead.
Sure. So I'm on Instagram. So it's at Steve Pruitt's Music, all one word. And then my Facebook artist page, I believe it's the same, at Steve Pruitt Music. I think if you type in Facebook, if you just type in the search Steve Pruitt, music, then my page will show up. And those are my two most active pages. I have a YouTube channel, and I do post on there a bit. And that's just, I think I was lucky enough to get Steve Pruitt on that. And I signed up for YouTube probably in 2002. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was all the 2007, but I guess not.
No. You know what? You might. No. I'm sorry. No, you're right. Like, because it came out years later. I was thinking about it because I saw Ronald Bruner play with Kenny Garrett in 2002.
Okay.
And I remember when I first got on YouTube and I signed up like as quick as I could.
Cool.
And then just to check out stuff or whatever. And I remember looking up Ronald Bruner, and there was only one video, and that was him playing with his brother playing the tune Butterfly.
Okay. Yeah, that's old school back in the day. I think YouTube's around that time, maybe 2005, 2006 or something like that.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very nice. Cool. Well, thanks so much for chatting with us, and all the best with your tour, all the best with the lessons and the students. And thanks so much for spending some time, Steve.
Hey, thank you, Denis.
There's our episode for tonight. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Thanks so much to Steve for chatting with us. I'm wishing you all the best and see you on the next episode. Ciao.